Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. Smash the like button on this video, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Guys, I've been asked a question. Josh Taylor's fighting this weekend. Would Josh Taylor beat Terence Crawford? Look, that's a great fight, and a fight that I really want to see down the line. I think it's a great fight between two great fighters. Josh Taylor's in everybody's top 6 pound for pound. Terence Crawford's in everyone's top 2 or 3 pound for pound. And they're both Taylor's a current undisputed 140 pound champion. And Terence Crawford is a former 140 pound champion, undisputed champion. I believe that's a great fight. And I think Taylor will beat Cattrall this weekend. I think he'll do it quite emphatically. I think he stops him. Some people think it goes the distance. I think he'll do it within the distance. And I think he'll stop Cattrall. I think Taylor is grown on me as a fighter. I've actually watched some back his fights. He's got great hand speed, great footwork. He's a good fighter. There's no doubt about it. I think Taylor's definitely now coming into his own. He's believing in himself also. I felt like Taylor back a year ago, he was still, I feel like he was still a bit raw in the sense that I think he didn't believe in himself as what he believes in himself now. I think now he feels he's the man, you know, whereas I felt like before, prior to Ramirez, I don't think he probably felt that, although, you know, obviously he talked like he did, but I think now the confidence is oozing when he's talking, the interviews. He's an undisputed champion. And I believe he believes he's the next big thing, you know what I mean? I think he really believes in himself, and he is a very skilled fighter. So I'm really interested to see how his career pans out. But the $1 million question is, I got asked, Imran, would he beat Terence Crawford? And the answer for me is no. I think Terence Crawford's too good. I think Terence Crawford's too special. I think Terence Crawford's too sharp. His IQ is too high. His confidence is on another level now. His hand speed, foot speed, the fact that he can switch. The man's brutal. And when he gets into that southpaw stance, he becomes into a monster. When he gets into that southpaw stance, he's got the measure of you and he's coming to hurt you. You know, when Crawford gets into that southpaw stance, you know that's it, you're in trouble. And for me, Crawford for me is a special, special talent. And Taylor's a very good fighter. He's a very spiteful fighter. Bats down on his gum shield, and he's a tough guy as well. He can take punches as well. He's very, very tough, skilled fighter. I just think Terence Crawford is that bit better. I think Terence Crawford is a level above in the sense that I think Crawford can do it all. I think Crawford can bang, Crawford can box, Crawford's quick of hands, he's quick of feet. I think he's a bigger puncher than Taylor. I think he's also got a good chin, Crawford. So I think that's a very, very difficult fight for Josh Taylor. I do. I like Josh Taylor. I think he's grown on me. Actually, I didn't like him as much at the start, but I feel like he's grown on me now, and I feel like I'm starting to appreciate his skills a lot more, looking back at some of his fights. But I've got to put it straight. Terence Crawford, for me, is the best, one of the best. I think him and Canelo and Usyk are the best out there. I do. I think they're special. And I can't see, as good as Taylor is, I think I know some people would disagree with me. I think Terence Crawford would stop Taylor. I do. I think Terence Crawford would stop him in 7-8 rounds. And that's how good I think Terence Crawford. And that's not being disrespectful to Taylor, who I think is a really good fighter. I just think Terence Crawford is a different breed. I actually think it wouldn't shock me if Terence stops Spence. That's how great Terence is at this point. I just think the confidence, the technique, the speed, the power, I feel like Terence has got it all. I don't think there's much in Terence's game I don't think he's got many weaknesses. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's gonna take some beating. I do. I think Terence Crawford's the best, one of the best in the world. But Josh Taylor, who knows if he can drag Terence into a fight. You know, one thing that I was surprised about is how big Josh Taylor is, because when they were standing next to each other, Taylor looked actually bigger than Terence Crawford. You know, I know Terence was making weight for a fight, but he still looked big. you know, Josh Taylor looked massive, so he's obviously a big 140, and he's going to be a big 147. That's a very interesting fight, very interesting fight. I would definitely say I think Terence Crawford wins it, but it's a good fight. It's definitely a good fight, and one that would be very interesting to watch. I think it'll become a massive fight down the road. I do, especially if Taylor keeps winning. But again, Taylor can't take his eye off the ball because Cattrall is not, like, I expect him to beat Cattrall. I think Taylor will stop Cattrall in 5-6 rounds. But I think the fight after that could be Crawford. I think there's no point of Taylor staying at 140 pounds. I don't think there's anything out there for him. Prograis rematch, I'm not too interested. Even though I think Prograis probably deserved a draw in that fight, but I'm not interested. I want to see him step up now, because although Taylor's got some good wins, I don't think he's beat anyone elite, and I think Terence Crawford is elite. And if he can beat Terence Crawford, Josh Taylor puts himself into that category of probably the greatest British fighter. You know, he puts himself as of all time, because with what he's done already, if he beats someone like Terence Crawford, then I think he's left no doubt. So for me, he needs someone like Terence Crawford, or he needs someone like Spence, who are elite fighters, and he needs to prove if he can beat them. I don't think he will, but at the end of the day, I still want to see the fight. I still think it's great fights, and I do think Taylor does have a chance. It's just the fact he's going up against someone. I think Taylor's a great fighter. It's just the fact that he's going up against somebody that's the best of the best in Crawford, you know. And I think Crawford is not just the best of the best. I think we're looking at a generational talent here in Crawford, who's very special. But again, Taylor's a good fighter. Taylor's a good fighter. You know, it'd be the best of the British going up against the best of American, and usually when that happens in their primes, generally, you know, the Americans come out on top. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think, does Terence Crawford beat Josh Taylor? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think Taylor could pull off the upset against Crawford? Leave your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.